You don't have to play games. But the key is, like I said, being willing to be rejected and knowing that you don't have to be in lack. Like, it may take time before you meet that next person, but you will meet them. And you just have to be willing to delay the instant gratification and do that.
Yes. I love that. I was just reminded of a conversation I had with someone recently, just out in public, and they were talking about how they said, well, women, I mean, it's scientifically proven we have to play games. It was, you know, a man in our kind of age range. And that's what gets women interested. And I said, well, a woman who consents to game playing will be interested in that. But a woman who no longer consents to that will not be interested in that.
At all.
And so if you want an exceptional woman, or I'm not saying women who consent to game playing aren't exceptional, but we're not putting ourselves, we're not valuing our worth in the way that we're meant to when we do consent to game playing in dating. And that, I feel, is true. And then your example of the woman who talked about how she met her husband, you could say the same thing to someone and be in lack, and even the right man might get up from the dinner table and run for the hills.
Oh, that desperation energy.
Right? The energy. But if you say it from a place of not needing him, just being absolutely clear and certain on what your path is, then the right man will love hearing that. He'll resonate with that. So I love that example. It's the energy.
The energy does matter, because I feel like both men and women can even if they don't understand energy, they can feel something is off, or something gives them the ick, or it's cringy, or whatever. But it's, you know, it's definitely the energy that you're bringing when you're having these conversations to a person, you know? And so, you know, the right person, someone who's on your page, will be like, you know what? And I'm not even talking about saying, hey, because I'm not looking for a husband. Okay, I've done that. But I am dating with intention, because I don't like to waste my time on frivolous, superficial things. Okay. But I may not be trying to like take on a husband. I mean, the statistics say, you know, that women live less and they live more unhappily if they're married, right?
Interesting new statistics, right?
Right? And that most women will opt to be single by 2030. This just came out, and I am blown away by that. And I've definitely taken it to heart. But I love men, so I'm not giving up on them yet. Okay, I think I'm gonna sacrifice some of my lifetime because
I'd like them to redo. I'd like them to redo the study with exceptional couples only. You know, keep couples that are truly happy, and then measure the lifespan of the woman again.
I mean, I gotta say, so I went to private school, and in my private school, we had house parents, right? And my house parents from middle school, I just talked to her. It was her birthday. Happy birthday, Mrs. G, if you ever hear this. And happy anniversary, because they, the Grossenbachers, who, if they ever hear this, I loved them to pieces. They are celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary. They just celebrated it actually this week. And it made me think, when she wrote me that message, about how happy marriages can be, and how they were such a great example of a happily married couple who worked on things and worked things out. And now here they are 45 years later.
Yes, okay. Yes. I love that. We have to draw on those examples as inspiration, because while they might be rare, they might be the exception. It's possible. And I really think that that's where a lot of people are moving in terms of their desire and investment in relationship, because we've gone through, you know, a really interesting run through a few generations of some really significant relationship challenges, that where relationship has not necessarily nurtured us. in the ways that it can.
I agree. But I think brings it back to being conscious, right? Because even when I separated with my ex-husband, we did something called conscious uncoupling, which made it was difficult, but I was really determined that we would end up with a good relationship as co-parents to our kids, and it worked out, okay? Now, are we best friends? We were there for a while, but he has a girlfriend, I have my own life, we don't have time for that, like, it's just what it is, but it worked out, okay? We're still cool, so it's good. We don't hate each other is my point, right? It worked out that we can still co-parent in a very civil and kind and loving way, and I love that. And so when you think about conscious dating and being your authentic self and being open to communicate in ways that can, I think for some people feel really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why it's hard for people, because they're so afraid to be vulnerable and to be hurt by being honest about what they want and how they feel and what
Yeah.
they're looking for.
Yeah, it's not easy. I really do feel a lot of compassion for all of us on that journey of vulnerability. It's not easy to to learn how to express yourself honestly and openly, because usually we've had some, many years and years or decades of situations where we weren't encouraged to do that. And we've got this huge shell, that really prevents us from doing that. But what we learn in the process is actually that's all an illusion. Because whether someone accepts what we've said or not doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the end. It's our relationship with ourself. And that's the liberation. And you think about it, that's intense self-discovery and burning off of layers and layers of fear. That's the invitation, I think, in conscious dating. I love it. I think it's a journey of great discovery. And we're not suggesting that it's easy, but I think it's one of the most compelling opportunities in life to really discover who we are and how fearless and loving we can be.
That is beautiful. Like, I mean, it feels like it would be very hard to really embody that, right? When you're going out there and you're going on all these dates, and it can be very discouraging, right? But I think it's work that's really worth it, because I think in the end it would change that perspective. And so when I go, for example, when I go and I talk to a guy, and I've talked to many, okay,
Like many, like
like
hundreds.
many. It was like okay, so I wasn't hoeing, all right? I was,
We know.
I was, I was doing a study.
It was
Okay,
research.
it was
Yes,
research
I
for my
get it.
podcast. Okay,
Yes,
but it was
totally.
fun. It was fun research, actually. It's really because I do really love men, and I love talking to all different kinds of men, and I've met all kinds of really wonderful men. Lots of business owners, lots of executives, lots of tradesmen, like lots of guys who have different careers, but also different creative pursuits, and also different hobbies and interests. And some of them were instant no's. Right? For me,
Yeah.
their approach was just all wrong, because I would have preferred a more authentic, like respectful approach. Okay.
Yes.
I'm that girl. Some girls, and you can see that, and I could see that there are a lot of women out there that um that are at a place in their wounding and in their healing and on their journey where that type of approach can work for them.
Mhm.
But for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
Check.
check on
Figured
to
that
the next,
out.
on to the next guy, right? So and that's what it is. And I think that there also has to be because what we were saying is a lot of it is fear. A lot of this, there's so much fear in dating. There's so much fear in dating. Fear of not meeting anyone, fear of this person won't like me, fear of getting hurt, fear of being our true selves. So
Fear
there's
of
so much fear.
settling.
Fear of settling. Yes.
Yeah.
There's just so many. We could just keep naming
We could
them
go on and on. Yeah.
of the fear. So there's so much fear. So I think that dating is the way it's conducted now is fear-based, right? So I feel that conscious dating is a way to push through that fear is to just almost like the saying like feel the fear and do it anyway, or how
Mhm.
you get courage by facing your fears.
Mhm.
So by facing what you fear most is kind of how you heal it, how you can move through it. And the more times you face that fear, which is why I talk to so many men, because I got married young, number one, my first marriage. And before that, I didn't date a lot. And I've always been kind of the girl that sees a guy, talks to him, we talk, we go out on a date, I become his girlfriend, and either it's a long-term relationship or it is you know, goes into a marriage, right? I've never been a girl who
You
just
have a
dated around.
formula. You have a sequence and a formula, and that's
Right?
how you do it.
That's always how it's been.
Yeah.
And so I've never been the girl that had like a roster of guys or dated around or multiple dated. And so after not my marriage, but after the next serious relationship I had ended, um, bye bunny. Thank you, sweetie. I was like, I want to have some experiences and I want to learn things because I mean, I'm this many years old and I've never had these experiences. So
Yes.
that's what it was kind of like. And I think it pushed me to, I definitely have a fear of rejection, no tea, no shade. So it pushed me to face that because I mean, yeah, I talked to all of these guys. I didn't reject all of them. Some of them, it was a no for me.
Mhm.
But that didn't make me crumble. It actually helped me get good at rejection. So now I feel like when you're facing conscious dating, right? And you're dating with intention and you're like, okay, on this next one, I'm showing up as myself. If it doesn't work out, then you